Welcome back to MidWest eSports Formula One Division 1. We are in Baku, Azerbaijan today, and Quali has just started, so we jumped on camera just so my mom can see my face once a week, like the contract says, and then we can watch some cars hit their laps.
Yeah, the executive producers tab does come at a cost. We do have to sacrifice something, and that is
the
obligatory face.
The message I got the 1 week we didn't show faces before the race was enough to almost cancel this channel.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to avoid that. But welcome back, everyone. We are racing, and it does look like there's going to be rain at the end, is what I'm hearing. Now, whether that's at the end of qualifying or the actual race itself remains to be clarified in the chat. But there will be some weather here today, so it's not going to be as clear as we would hope coming out of Portugal last week in that rainy mess, which surprisingly, no real wrecks, no real incidents. No stewards findings for D1 following last week in Portugal.
It was a clean race. We did have 2 DNFs in the race. We had race day in the Ferrari and Electric Blade in the Haas, who did not complete the race. Everyone else did, though, which is good. Led to us getting out of the session early. I don't know if you can expect the same today here in Baku with all of these narrow walls. The castle section we'll see in just a minute. There's not much room to pass here at all except the final straight. Doesn't mean people won't go for it.
No, absolutely. This one is definitely a clencher. We do say that a lot because that's a lot of the technical aspect of this racing series are dangerous overtakes and very ballsy defensive maneuvers. But this one, more than others, is it's just a bit more technical. You really have to keep your line. Not as bad as Monaco, but definitely, there is some decorum that you have to carry through this circuit. But it is one of my favorites. This is one of those that once you know the pattern, once you kind of get it down pat, it does become really fun to rip. But, like any starting grid on a street circuit, it is rough when you're in congestion. So, my bread and butter here in Baku is definitely qualifying. It's definitely time trials. I really love throwing a couple of hours just at this track. I really could run this one for days.
This one is super fun. I love Sector 3, where you can go full speed if you're gutsy enough. That looked mighty close for Aero Racing Design, but I'm sure he has that car under control. It'll just look very crazy on here.
Yeah, it looked like there was a little connection issue there. That, or he's playing pinball with the walls, which in quali is not ideal, but we will see what Aero Racing can do here down the stretch. We do, just to recap last week's results, like we said, there were no stewards findings, so there wasn't a real big pre-show that we had to put on this week. No new updates from the league either, so congratulations last week to GSR Edwin in first place, followed by Scarenzi and Got Palmer. That was your podium from Portugal. It would have been, this is the storyline that I do want to cover in qualifying before times start being set. It would have been a race day victory. However, there were some issues that race day was running into that turned out later to be non-issues. So I did want to just run that one back briefly. What was it? Race day saw someone DNF for what he assumed was a connection issue. So to get ahead of the game, he thought he was having connections issues. So to beat the game and get back into the lobby to finish the race, he closed his system, completely turned his system off, his console.
I don't know if he did the system off.
Was it, or he quit the game? Whatever it was.
Checked out, yeah. And we don't know the full scenario, but it sounded like he saw someone disconnected, saw an X, thought it was next to his name, worried he was having the issue, so left the lobby to rejoin because we're asking for an invite. but it was someone else who disconnected. I think Electric Blade, he was the only other DNF.
Right.
So,
But therefore, because there wasn't a connection issue, he just left the lobby willingly. So it was a DNF on driver error. That was not a game error. So there was a bit of tension in the paddock chat afterwards of race day saying, what was that? What was that? I can't stand this game. This game is horrible. And then I believe an hour after the dust had settled right before bed, we got another message that was like, guys, I went back and rewatched it, and that one was on me. So absolutely brutal to see that entire storyline play out behind the scenes. Race day, we feel for you. But, you know, it happens to everyone at least once. And it's happening again, though, to GSR Edwin. Setting fastest lap, sitting atop this grid. He did it back in Portugal, and he's doing it here in Baku, but not to be beaten today. Race day takes the podium. I sense a revisit of the story we were covering last week in Portugal.
I think he is going to come out guns blazing on this course. He has been fast all season long, and this one is tricky for a lot of racers. It looks like Nikki has retired. Didn't see if there was a full crash, but there are a couple of yellow flags out there. He may have gone down, but I expect someone like Race Day to put in some work on this track and already has the fastest lap. I think some will get a bit quicker, but a lot of people saying they hate this track. They haven't put much practice in. They're locking up everywhere, which very prone on this circuit. So we'll see how he can handle it. If he can get out in front early, I think there's going to be enough incidents and enough bumping and holding up around the corners that he can really get a nice lead. Didn't Max lap a few people last year on this course?
Yeah, he sure did. I believe this was one of the 24-second leads that he had. It was one of the most egregious leads that he had in front of second place at the finish of the race. I think it was around 24 seconds.
I think was the other one Silverstone or Spa, where he had enough time to pit for fresh softs to set the fastest lap and still come out like 10 seconds ahead of everyone. I think it was Spa.
I was going to say Silverstone. I'm not sure. But I do. Yeah, that is insane. And just a bit of real world F1 news. It is really weird. And hopefully the view counts just skyrocket because everyone's talking about F1 today. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen the news. But apparently something pretty big happened in the world of F1. I mean, holy crap. Lewis Hamilton wearing red in the 2025 season. This is not a real world podcast, but Mitch, your thoughts?
That wasn't the news I was expecting you to say from big Formula One news.
What was the other news?
You didn't see it?
See what? Lewis Hamilton
to
going to Ferrari is not the top news of the day.
Here it is. I found it again. Aston Martin announced that they have a new partnership with OMP to provide all of their racewear for 2024.
That's
right.
the news.
The big news is, of course.
You heard it here first. Literally first. No one else.
And they re-signed with JCB for another year.
Oh, that's so good. All right. Those were Mitch's thoughts on the latest F1 news. Moving. Oh.
I'm happy to. Well, not happy. It'll be really cool to see Lewis Hamilton in Ferrari next to Charles Leclerc. It's the iconic race team. Gonna forget, but everyone wants. If you get to F1, you probably want to race for Ferrari at some point, even if they're not the best team. It's just icon status.
Yeah, that's the old adage. You know, regardless of your team, regardless of your favorite team, everyone's a Ferrari fan. Whether you like to admit it or not, one time or another, yeah, we all love Ferrari. And we do love watching Callie Robb and Race Day bookend the grid as it stands right now. Callie Robb yet to set a lap, but with 8 minutes to go, we're seeing what he is made of in this red pony. The other bit of news that I wanted to get to, but I'm not sure if we'll have time today, is you have finally watched the Disney Pixar classic Cars in its entirety, front to back. You stayed awake for it. I heard that you were predicting the storyline like Madame Zeroni. But other than that, did you enjoy the movie? Do you understand why it is a cult classic in our generation of race fans?
I do, yes. I did clarify that I had no younger siblings or younger cousins who wrote me into that movie when I was 12 or 13 when it came out. So that's how I kind of missed.
Yeah, and you justified it by saying, "Oh, I was too old to watch the movie as a 13-year-old."
I didn't say I was too old. I just didn't I don't know, seek out Disney movies at that age.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Callie Robb jumping up to 5th, by the way. Wanted to get his time out there with the 141. I really liked it. It was good.
Yeah.
Even though it was predictable,
Yeah.
Disney, Pixar, those animators, even if it's the most predictable movie in the world, they do it so well.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's just when he goes to the racetrack, and I'm like, they're not going with him. And then I'm like, I bet the Luigi and the forklift are going to show up and be his pit crew. And then the old racer who retired and got out of the game is going to show up and reference something that he said earlier to Lightning McQueen. That's going to spark him back to get into the race once again. And then the rest of the fam's going to be there. And then after he won and he turned down the sponsorship and they said, do you want one more? Like, if you need anything, let me know. I'm like, he's going to ask for Mater's helicopter ride, and then boom, helicopter ride.
Meanwhile, your girlfriend's sitting over there just huffing and puffing every time you open up your mouth to predict. Yeah. But
she's like, watch the movie.
Just watch it happen, okay? No, the amount of cameos, I don't know if you went back through the IMDb and looked at the amount of actual racers that are featured in that movie and the entire trilogy. I know Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, Sebastian Vettel are all cameos in the second or third movie as well. But tying this back to the Ferrari storyline today, it's going to be a little sweeter for you this year watching the Ferrari pit crew because of the infamous pit stop, the Luigi tattoo that somebody has on the back, or Guido tattoo on the back of their forearm. So they have a little Cars tattoo in Ferrari red.
I'll have to seek that out.
And they also race, they cheer for Ferrari in the movie as well. They don't watch NASCAR because open wheel is the best, the Ferrari.
I loved that part when
you race at the Ferrari.
I wouldn't have appreciated those jokes if I had watched the movie at any point before this last year.
Scott Palmer goes fastest with a 1:41.29. Yeah, no, you're completely right. That would have made no sense.
A lot of and I think I got more jokes than my girlfriend too because I've watched so much racing in the past year. They do so well with all those little nods too.
Yeah, and we can really dive into this. Is the Pixar pre-show. This is the Pixar practice round.
I don't know if you can say that.
TM. But the crew of Cars, the writers and animators of Cars, actually did a road trip of Route 66 from end to end to really get the whole feel. So there are a lot of like the backgrounds and the scenery are like based in all factual places.
So it jumps up into second, by the way.
Yeah, Scarenzi was one of the most dominant racers we saw, I believe. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2 seasons ago. But we do know from history that Scarenzi is notoriously quick and dangerous on street circuits. So that's no surprise that we're seeing him push. Even with 4 minutes to go in the session, Scarenzi is likely going to cement himself in the first 2 rows of the grid here today. I'll be surprised if he is anywhere but.
You say that about the Route 66 trip too. I've seen this for other movies. I think they get to the point where the writers just want to do a Route 66 road trip. And so they have to come up with a movie pitch that justifies them going on this trip. And here's some trouble for Scarenzi, thankfully, that Alpine looks like got out of the way or stayed out of the way, crashing in the castle circuit. Didn't see if Scarenzi had to slow down too much yet. But yeah, you come up with a road trip, or I don't know, I've seen it with like, let's make a Euro trip movie so we can go to Europe for 2 months to scout the locations, and then write a film.
We bought a zoo too. They're buying a zoo up in the state of Washington. However, to get one of the animals to the hospital they need to go south to Route 66 to follow. Wait a minute. Jerry, I heard you talking about a Route 66 road trip that was canceled when you were a kid. You never got to do it. Does this have anything to do with that? No, I don't know what you're talking about. It's imperative to the storyline.
Making up for all of those lost trips.
Poor Jerry. I don't know if it's the camera angle or the cars, but everyone is cutting it so close on that corner right there. This is one where, you know, in order to get the perfect delta, to get the fastest lap time, you really have to be brushing up against these walls almost the entire time. This one is a ton of fun, but like I said, you know, earlier, I almost need hours to perfect this one because it is very slowly, you know, inching closer and closer and closer towards that wall every single lap. This one, in order to set records, to set pace, you need to be the best. It has to be a perfect lap. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Just like that, we see Sui just sliding the rear of his car out there. Look, too much gas around the left at the end of the downhill section. But this is going to be quick. Will it be quick enough to get him up at all? Oh, well, he's going into the pit, so it won't.
Here's your answer. Race day.
All right.
Out on his lap, though, and his teammate, Cali Rob, had to search for it right behind him. Sui retires from the session. Just watched him pull into the pits. Race day is improving on his time ever so slightly. Oh, there he is.
Oh.
Today, I was in a meeting, and near the end, thankfully, I was moving my pencil for my tablet that is magnetic on my laptop. Swiped over the, I guess, maybe like, I don't even have it, but an ID card unlock for my laptop.
Okay.
So I swiped it over that just on top, and it shut my laptop off because it thought I was scanning it with a card to shut it off. So
whoa!
Mid-meeting, I was playing with my pen, and my laptop went off. I'm like, whoop.
No.
See ya.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah.
I was recording a podcast today at work, and my lights, I learned, my overhead lights are on a timer. So my room with no windows just went pitch black in the middle of a podcast. So that was fun. Not as rough as losing connection in the middle of a meeting, but
we have race day back on top of a 140.042. Scarenzi is out of qualifying. Got Palmer is about even on his pace, and he is heading into sector 2, so he's got just a little bit more of a chance. GSR Edwin, I believe, is out on his final lap.
Yeah, we'll see if he can improve. He needs 6/100ths.
Got Palmer will be the next to cross the line.
We'll see if God Palmer can do anything here. Doesn't look like we have any substitutions here for seats tonight. Of course, the Plums taking over for Ryan Rods in the AlphaTauri, currently sitting down in 13th. That is the newest name on the grid, but other than that, tried and true. Everyone's here. The gang's all here.
I'd like to see that close to the end of the season.
Yeah. When it matters, right?
Absolutely.
Got Palmer, does it. He goes fastest. That is a 1:39.9. Holy, breaking the 1:39 marker in the final minutes of qualifying. Got Palmer will hold provisional pole.
Looks like Cali Rob's going to get a slipstream off of race day too. Although race day's out there for another lap.
I'm sure he is not happy with that standing as it is right now, especially after last week. Race day, I'm sure, will be pushing as hard as that car will allow him. Cali Rob jumps up into 4th place, pushing GSR Edwin down into 5th. GSR Edwin takes it back, moves himself up into 3rd, past Cali Rob, past Scarenzi. GSR Edwin right behind race day for the start It's looking like a rematch from Portugal last week. No rain in qualifying means we will likely see some rain towards the end of today's race. So all of the action, all of the moving and grooving, you're really going to want to capitalize on that early DRS in today's race. This one is going to be fast out the gun, guarantee it. It's Scott Palmer, followed by Race Day, GSR Edwin, and Scarenzi for your front two lines.
And we are seeing Cali Rob calling Race Day a legend, like giving him that sweet, sweet slipstream to boost Cali Rob up a few positions at the buzzer.
Hey, that is a team play right there. Race Day knows what he's doing. We'll see if they can match that pace, match that energy in today's race. We are in the final weeks of Season 11. Baku is up next on Nick and Mitch. Welcome back to the streets of Azerbaijan. Last week in Portugal, we were treated to a cool rain but scorching tempers through the technical tango of Portugal. Tonight, we find our pack ready to tackle the unforgiving ballet of the Baku city circuit. In Baku, 3.73 miles of tight turns and adrenaline-pumping straights await the grid. Now, don't let the picturesque settings fool you. This is a relentless test of nerve and reflexes from practice to podium. The name of the game here is calculated audacity. Every overtake is a potential crash. Every defensive move is a strategic masterpiece. Tonight, the drivers need to be bolder than ever because hesitation in this castle-cluttered concrete jungle can end your race in the blink of an eye. Dude, last week did not go how anyone imagined with all of that weather and some weird connection issues, but I'm sure the points followed suit, right? It was a mess.
They did, but we are looking at a restart because there are a couple connection issues in the lobby. So we gave you a nice warm-up. You got your formation lap in before you get to do it once again.
Always, always.
It's like several games crashing right now.
Rough. Well, we will see if we will have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix tonight here in D1. Please stand by. We can get back to our discussion of cars.
Oh boy.
Just looking up some Cars movie trivia here to see.
You're gonna see if I actually watched the movie.
Truly, how well you paid attention during this movie. Yeah. If you missed it during qualifying, Mitch watched Cars for the first time this past week. This all should be fresh info. All right, Mitch. What are the names of Lightning McQueen's two biggest fans? You have Tia and Leah, Tia and Mia, Mia and Leah, and Sally and Lizzie.
Okay, I feel like he doesn't even know the answer to this.
He doesn't.
What was the second one?
It was Tia and Mia. These are two cars that are in the stands. I love you, Lightning! And then they flash their...
Mia? Was that an option?
It was Mia. You said Mia and Leah?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The correct duo is Tia and Mia. Those were I believe the Miata, right? Miata with the flip up headlights. And yeah, they flip up their headlights as he drives by. Yeah. Second question. What is the name of the car that sneezes and wakes Mac the truck up, ultimately resulting in Lightning's disappearance? We have Sneezer, Wingo, Achu, or Snot Rod.
Snot Rod.
It was Snot Rod. Correct. All right. You're 1 for 2 here. All right. Number 3. Who are the owners of Lightning McQueen's sponsor, Rusty's? Dusty and Rusty, Dusty and Musty, Rusty and Musty, or musty and gutsy?
What was the first one?
Dusty and rusty.
Has to be that.
It is dusty and rusty. 2 for 3.
They really can't like veer off of what is blatantly put in front of them, can they?
No. All right. What type of car is Doc Hudson? A Plymouth,
Hudson.
a Speed Demon, a Hudson Hornet, or
Hudson
a Mercury?
Hornet.
Yeah, it was a Hudson Hornet. All right.
Actually, my old job, I had
a Hudson
client who like was in a Hudson club, and so like everything in his house had like old Hudson logos and parts, and I think he took it to the vintage Grand Prix all the time.
That's pretty rad.
And that's when I learned that Hudson was a car.
Dang. One of my grandfathers actually had a Hudson Hornet. Pap Comito, my grandfather on my dad's side, had a Hudson Hornet back in the day. Hey, Guido's name means to stop and look. True or false? Guido means to stop and look.
False.
You're right. It is false.
All
right.
What is it? What is the actual definition?
I don't know. It's something Jersey Shore, right?
That's
Guido, a man, an Italian American man.
See, that's I was going to say
Yeah,
that,
it's
but
just a slur.
yeah, but I didn't know if it was.
Shout out Disney.
It can't.
Where are we? Restarted yet, or are we still waiting?
We're still waiting.
All right, all good. We do have question number 6 ready for you here. Which NASCAR driver provides a voice over for a character? Is it Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Richard Petty, or all the above?
Oh, all the above.
It is all of the above.
I said that because I mentioned we're doing Cars trivia, and Aero Racing said the answer is always Jimmy Johnson. So I was going off of his answer.
Yep. F. Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson. Gonna get another one. Number 48. Never forget. Jimmy Johnson was actually my NASCAR driver when I decided to like NASCAR for like 3 weeks in grade school. I did cheer for Jimmy Johnson, primarily because we were a Lowe's household. We did not go to Home Depot, so I rooted for the Lowe's car. But also, I really liked the yellow, the bright neon yellow that he... Yes, brother. Yeah, you get it. He had a really cool car livery, and it was like a neon, almost like the Aston Martin neon green that's on the wing on your hat, outlining the 48, and it just popped. So my first house key, my parents got me the first house key to let myself in after school. It was a number 48 Jimmy Johnson house key. So that's
beautiful.
We're old school, baby. We go way back. Hey, what does Mac jokingly say in the movie?
Asked if he missed it, by the way. No, we had a lobby reset, so we're just doing our usual killing time.
Yeah, Mitch watched Cars for the first time, so we're quizzing him.
What's this next one?
What does Mac jokingly say his middle name is? Gas can, crew chief, rubber, or Speedy?
Which one was Mac?
Mac was the truck. The Mac truck that transports lightning.
Is it Speedy?
It is Speedy. Congratulations. That is correct. You are...
You're so enthusiastic as a game show host. You're nailing your audition.
Oh, wait. Is this? Oh, I actually don't know if these are correct anymore. All right. What is the name of the harvester that chases Mater and Lightning? Hank, Crank, Frank, or Bob?
Isn't it Crank?
Sure. I think
you don't have the answers in front of you anymore?
No, you see, this is an actual quiz, and I was using the hints to, like for me to figure out what the answer was. But as I'm clicking it, it looks like there is a submission tab at the bottom. So we're going to see how we did at the end. So Crank, sure. There you go. Congrats. Hey, question 9. When Mater first meets Lightning, what does Mater think his name is? Bubba, Lightning, Mater, or Chip?
Mater think his own name is?
When Mater first met Lightning McQueen, what does Mater think Lightning's name is?
Okay.
Bubba, Lightning, Mater, or Chip?
Chip?
I think it's Mater. I think it's Mater
right now.
You're Mater too?
That's right.
All right, what's the name of Sally's motel?
All right, we're about to start.
It's the Cozy Cone. All right, as we get back to the start, I am going to submit my answers.
We'll find out after.
Welcome back to take 2 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Last week, we were treated to high stakes, little bit of rain, but scorching tempers through a technical tango in Portugal. Tonight, we find our pack ready to tackle the unforgiving ballet of the Baku city circuit. In Baku, it's 3.73 miles of tight turns and adrenaline-pumping straights. And don't let this picturesque setting fool you, though. This is a relentless test of nerve and reflexes from practice to podium. The name of the game here is calculated audacity. Every overtake is a potential flash. Every defensive move is a strategic masterpiece. Tonight, the drivers need to be bolder than ever because hesitation in this castle-cluttered concrete jungle can end your race in the blink of an eye. Dude, last week did not go how anyone predicted, and I'm sure these points followed suit.
Yes, we had a big shakeup. There are just 3 races to go. Ferrari is still in the lead by 88 points over Aston Martin. We did have race day not finish the race last week, which hurt Ferrari's points. We also had Alpine jump up into 3rd, Williams jump up into 4th, and Red Bull go down to 5th, but just by 1 point behind Williams. We also had AlphaTauri jump over McLaren and some big changes. Biggest news over in the Drivers' Championship, Skrensny is now back on top with 555 points. Scott Palmer in that Williams is at 514, and Race Day is now in 3rd at 510 after being on top last week with 510. So every point matters, and we have a nasty track, so we don't know who is going to finish today.
Only 3 races to go before we crown a champion of Season 11. Buckle up, Baku. This is MidWest eSports Formula 1 Division 1 on Nick and Mitch. Dude, we did better than I expected on this Cars quiz. I'm not going to lie.
What was our score on that?
7 out of 10.
That's a passing grade.
That is a passing grade in the U.S. at least. What are the name of Lightning McQueen's 2 biggest fans? We answered Tia and Mia. It's Tia and Mia. I don't know why I clicked Sally and Lizzie. Okay. All right, so we got 8 out of 10. Never mind. Mac jokingly said his middle name was Gas Can, not Speedy. When Mac volunteers to be Lightning's pit crew because he has no crew, he jokingly says, after all, Gas Can is my middle name. And the harvester that chases Mater and Lightning, when Lightning goes tractor tipping, he wakes up the big harvester. Mater then says, that's Frank. And then they speed away, being closely followed by Frank. So we said it was Crank, that they should not wake up, but it was, in fact, Frank. So there we go. We got an 8 out of 10. It's an 80% grade. We do need to do this again. We have 2 more races to go after this one. 2 more pre-shows to go after this one. So there are 2 more movies in the Cars series, if you so choose to sit through that, those cultural moments.
I might. You don't know. I have not a shoulder injury. My shoulder has been bugging me, so I don't know if I'm doing my race this weekend.
Hey, there you go.
I'm not going to be one of the point scorers because I just don't know if I can practice or move it. So if I'm not, Sunday night, I might watch Cars 2. Gotta do the off the track training if I can't be on track.
There it is. Well, we are under formation, as you see on screen right here. I'm blinding myself with my key light, but what else is new? Turn that off and get ready for the race. Only 26 laps here. It's a little shorter of a track than we saw last week in Portugal. Or, sorry, it's a bit longer of a track than we saw last week in Portugal. But it is more, I don't know, it's more dicey, I think. So I don't think we're going to be as lucky as we were in Portugal last week. I do think we are going to see some sort of incident here today. There are just too many.
Lap 1.
I am confident that we will make it through lap 1, yes.
Okay.
Because this pack has been pretty consistent with making it through lap 1. I was really surprised last week as well. And I believe we made it through Monaco lap 1 too.
I think last week, didn't we also, I said over or under 2.5 safety cars, and you said under?
I did. I took
over
the under.
Because
yeah.
I was going to say it anyways.
Well, all right. We'll take it here today. So over or under 3. The line is set at
half
3.
number.
Oh, okay. All right. The line is set at 3.5. You can tell.
Okay. Over.
Big gambler over here.
Oh, under. It's going to be 3.
3.5. Okay. All right. I'll take the over then at 4.
Here we go.
You can tell I'm a big time gambler here. Lights are out. We have a very far look here at the start, but there we go. Got Palmer in the lead, followed by Race Day, GSR Edwin, and Scarenzi. T-Nell was able to get ahead of Callie Robb up into 5th place on that start. Just a better go off the line, along with Plums, Sui, and Electric Blade also getting the jump here in the end of Sector 1. We did have a quick caution flag in Sector 1, but it looks like that was waved off. So we'll see if anyone pits for damage back in the pack. But these front runners are clean so far. Here we go. It's going to get a little tighter as we get deeper and deeper into the streets of Baku. But Got Palmer sitting steadily in first place here through 1. We do see Scarenzi and Callie Robb. Callie Robb really close there, at least before that corner, heading up into the Aston Martin. Here we go into the Castle corner. Everyone is cleanly through in the front. Scarenzi really putting pace on Callie Robb there. Just look at him breaking away. Looked like Scarenzi, it looked like Callie Robb just took a really late braking zone to catch up to Scarenzi, but you can see the domination there. These 4 front runners already moving against the pack, and there goes GSR Edwin into the wall. Just a bit too heavy down that straight. Sure, he's going to rein that in for the rest of today's race, but here we go down the line. Scarenzi does get by GSR Edwin after that brief connection with the wall, and Scarenzi will be sitting in 3rd place following the first lap here in Azerbaijan. Like we said, Scarenzi just has the number of these street circuits.
Yeah, and Callie Robb is looking to shoot on the inside, but decides to tuck back behind right now, and GSR Edwin make an attack on another corner. He was picking up speed in that slipstream. That straight gets so fast, but it's such a tight left hand that you really can't go on the inside of that one. It's such a weird corner. It's so wide track-wise entering it, but it's a 90 to the left.
Yeah, all of these corners have their own special, just little snippet of hell. We do have Bone Crusher over on the YouTube chat calling it out, predicting Race Day will be winning today's race. I'm not sure if that counts as a commentator's curse, since it did come from the chat, but that is what they are saying in the in the circles of discussion here. We see most of the pack on medium tires to start. With Shreya Coleslaw, Houdini, and Gunner, both of the McLarens running softs, and an AlphaTauri and an Alpine running hards. So we'll see how those different strategies play out. But interesting that they are all in the back of the pack. Maybe they know something that we don't with that strategy, trying to move up the grid later in today's contest. But the majority of folks running mediums, playing it safe, trying to get through as much of this race as possible before they switch to presumably softs if they can make it, because we are predicting some weather later in the race. So I'm not sure if they're going to try and make it last until the weather hits, or if they're going to try and go medium to soft and then soft to either inter or wet. There's the strategy that AWS is pulling up. Does not look like rain is in the forecast there from what the computers are telling us.
Wonder if that changed with the lobby or
It might have.
It didn't. I know sometimes I think they said they use random.
Okay, all right, here we go. So Sharia Coleslaw is the lobby host, and the official wording from Sharia in Paddock Chat is, I set this redone session to dry because the race was dry for over an hour of race time, and we can't control it finely enough to replicate it exactly. We can only edit in thirds of a session. So it was going to happen so late that it wouldn't have rained unless there were a couple of yellow flags and some slowdowns throughout the race. So
yeah, and you don't want to, have people set up their cars.
Yeah,
Even though real life you can't ever fully predict, like people do tend to pick their car setup based on the chance of rain. So you don't want to have to throw some rain specific for maybe 5 minutes if the race gets dragged out.
Yes, yeah, and we did not hear of anyone messing up their setups on the lobby rejoin.
I don't think anyone's complaining about no rain either.
No. Well, Sharia did say that he specifically set it to light clouds on the restart. So there is some weather, okay? It's not clear skies here in Azerbaijan. Let's just make that clear for the record. Hey, what's up, Ian, down in chat? You did miss a bit of Ferrari gossip. It was mostly me talking about the news and Mitch completely diverting to what socks the Aston Martin team will be wearing for this year, which is I believe.
Hey, it's more than just socks. It's the whole race outfit for the crew. And
Ashton Vettel's outside of the race suit underwear is going to be sponsored by
yellow and white JCB sticker that's staying. That sponsorship's locked up.
Yeah, so I asked Mitch's thoughts, and that was the response I got. So, did you hear the F1 news? And he said, yeah, Aston Martin has a new clothing sponsor. So there we go.
Hey, Fernando's going to look good in the suit. It's going to be the James Bond suit next.
I will say, the image that Ferrari posted of Charles with Lewis next to him, Lewis 100% is AI. There's no way that is an actual picture of Lewis. They didn't just Photoshop his face onto that Ferrari suit. They just made him in AI. And look at that. During the Ferrari banter, we are under a safety car. Looks like GSR Caesar is going to be the lone soldier back behind the grid. Apologies there. I kind of zoned out.
I don't know if it was. I mean, he may have been involved, but it looks like Aero Racing Design there's a little bit less aero on the front of that car.
Oh, yeah, it does look like he's a little bit of rhinoplasty there, missing a nose. Okay, yeah, I've never seen a break in the game like that where the wing is like sheared off 3/4 of the way. Do you see that?
It's got a mini wing. He
does have a mini wing. I've just never seen it break like that in the game. That's very interesting. Mitch knows underwear. What can you say? I had a full, unironic conversation, like a grown-up conversation about underwear brands 2 days ago. It was 3 days ago. It was a party. It was a birthday party on a Monday night. We were sitting around drinking beers on a Monday after work, celebrating someone's birthday, talking about what brand of underwear is going to last the longest when it comes to playing roller derby. So there's that bit of information. More underwear chat than I usually have in a week.
Say, I know Alonso got really hot in that one race and wanted water dumped on his outfit, so maybe that's what they're working on, like a liquid-cooled seating system.
There we go. All the drivers heading into the pits, looking like they're putting on hards. At least forgot Palmer. Looking like, yeah, hards are the way to go. They're going to try and get through as much of this race as possible. Try and stave off any other safety car pit entries for as long as they can, at least. It's looking like these drivers are settling in for the long stay. Yeah, we'll see how this shakes out. So you do hards and then presumably soft right at the end, so we can just rip it to the finish line. That was the one change, but do you really think anyone other than who was it that took it the whole way. Was it Sharia? Or no, it was in one of the lower divisions. Someone took a pair of hards or a pair of mediums for 27 laps, I believe.
It was insane.
Yeah,
That's what I remember about the Cars movie now. I remember that if I hadn't have watched it now, if I'd watched it years ago, I probably wouldn't have understood why Lightning was able to catch back up to the leaders in the final race, because he was able to get out of the pit just before the safety car passed the line.
Get the whole way around.
I think I would have been like, well, why does he get to catch up now?
Warmed those tires up. I mean, he was ripping around that catch-up lap.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude.
Chewing through some tires.
Beat stop. Oh, it's my favorite. Have you ever done one of the tire guns?
No.
All right, we need to get you.
Did you?
Yeah, I've done one of the tire. I haven't done an F1 a single. I have done the NASCAR 5 lug. But I think NASCAR has more recently switched to a single lug lock. But yeah, back in the day, I did hit a 5 lug. They are fun. They're very fun, very fast.
Oh, it looks like so much fun.
Yeah, we'll have to get you. I'm just about an hour 15 away from Dover Motor Speedway, the Monster Mile up in Dover, Delaware. And that is one heck of a fun time to go see NASCAR. So maybe next year we do plan to go up to NASCAR and watch. I know it's not F1, but unironically, if you feel the power of those cars, you will be a NASCAR fan, at least for a day.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
I haven't been to a race.
Yeah.
I know my parents would go to NASCAR before.
Phenomenal.
My mom's driven the NASCAR car.
Oh, really?
The experience, like the Andretti
Richard
experience.
Petty. Yeah, Andretti. Yeah.
Petty experience. I did Andretti karting, which was close to the Petty.
There you go. Okay.
Experience. Yeah, it was the Petty experience, I think.
My dad has a story of the Petty experience, and I believe he had a Plymouth, like an old, Petty Plymouth, that he was taking out and completely came up to the first corner and completely dipped it into the infield and spun out and tore up grass. I think he was at the Poconos Raceway, and he tore up grass on the experience. They just told him to bring the car back in. He was done. Like, this is it. This is over. You've lost your thing because, it just ripped up all the landscaping.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. They get to do it on race day. I mean,
right?
And he didn't ruin the car, just the grass. So I think they let him walk for that one. We do have, ironically, the Mercedes leading the pack here tonight in Ferrari red, of all things, for the safety car. So.
Oh, I was really confused. I'm like, that is a Williams leading.
Nope. One in front of there. It is a Mercedes wearing the Ferrari colors in a race. That looks foreshadowing for the 2024 season. Safety car will be heading into the pit lane this lap. We will be back underway. 20 laps remain after a couple unfortunate laps were soaked up due to Aero Racing Design losing that Aero Racing front wing.
How long is Scott Palmer going to keep these guys at bay, too?
Yeah, here we go. It's the famous game of chicken. Looks like he's pulling away. Oh. I'm sure race day is loving this. Here we go. Here we go.
I am not
really
because I would just go right into the back.
Yeah, straight in. Yeah, the amount of restraint that race day has here to just sit. And away he goes. Scott Palmer takes pace into lap 6 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It is season 11 MidWest eSports Formula 1 Division 1. We are under caution. Once again, it is waved off. We are good to start lap 7, Here we go. Scott Palmer still at the top of the pack. All of our front runners now on hard tires as they started on mediums and took advantage of that pit lap. Race day trying to do everything he can to catch up to Scott Palmer, but he may have to wait for DRS if Scott Palmer continues this interval increase. Aero Racing Design getting by Houdini in the back of the pack. That new front wing paying off nicely for the Alpine. But it is also, all eyes are on Scarenzi, notorious on the street circuits, now sitting third He is definitely a contender for the podium, if not the trophy here tonight, the first place trophy. So we will keep an eye. Once DRS is engaged, we might be seeing a different story here. Up through the castle corners, a beautiful camera angle, and down the straight where we saw GSR Edwin earlier just completely send it into the wall. Forgot where the brakes were in the cockpit. We'll see if he has that ironed out here. But yeah, I mean, this is that track where you just have to be an arm's length away from the wall at any given time, and you just have to be okay with it.
And it gets really scary at the end of your tire life. In the beginning, you can be pretty comfortable with it. But once you start slipping those tires a bit, it's a little more sketchy trying to hit that ideal line and come close to the wall. You know the car should be able to do it, but if you slip by just an inch, you're into the wall and your race is done.
Oh, Scarenzi trying to get an inch there on race day, was able to close into 1/10 of the Ferrari, but without DRS assistance in lap 8 here, he was unable to get by the Ferrari on that finish straight. We'll see if he can keep that gap close and try it again in the next one. We're seeing so many lockups into these corners. You see all those puffs of smoke. Those are the drivers locking up those tires, locking up the brakes, and definitely not something that you want to have happen when you are in control of this car. But I will say, very happy that there is not going to be any wet weather here today. I would not have been a happy camper if I had to drive a wet Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That is just a special nightmare.
Yeah, it is. That would have been not fun. And checking in on Bobber E8s right now in the AlphaTauri because he said I better watch this masterclass. He's going to crash on lap 4. It is lap 8, but I'm going to technically count this as lap 4 with those safety car laps.
There we go. Send it, Bobber.
But
send it. You can do it.
You called your shot, so you're going to get the commentators on you for the entire rest of this lap 4 for you.
Do it. You won't crash. Do it for the meme. Commit. All right, I'm done. Catcalling the competitor.
Work quite like that.
That's just the commentator's bully over there.
Yeah. He's getting on the team radio.
Can you tell them to stop?
I think he's safe from here on out. He's got a straight line, even if his car implodes. We do have DRS active though, so race day is still within time. He should be getting a nice little DRS hit here and then on the final straight.
He's got to be happy about that one, but he is definitely hanging on by a thread. God Palmer just has this course down pat. I know a couple of the drivers were saying earlier today that they were not practicing Azerbaijan as much as they would have liked to, which happens from time to time, but yeah, definitely shows. It looks like God Palmer definitely got those practice laps in for today's qualifying and lights out.
Could also just be a machine. We have Scarenzi going by race day though. Race day didn't see maybe going just a bit wide on the corner. So Scarenzi is now in second, but 2 seconds behind Gott Palmer. Slowly closing that interval. So he might be able to get a little bit closer just before going into that final stretch. It is very long, which is kind of nice. You get about half of the straight to build up and catch up before you even get to the DRS detection. And then it's that final like 1/3, 3/8 that you get the actual DRS.
That's too much math for me.
You want to have some fun with fractions?
No, this is racing. There's no math involved.
You sound like Ferrari strategy crew.
Oh, Ian, are you still listening?
How many laps can we get on these tires? I don't know. How do we know that?
How can I tell?
How much are they wearing down and how many laps do you think they'll run out?
Well, GSR Caesar was once at the back of the pack, but following a restart and a few strategic moves, he was able to get by the Alfa Romeo, move up into 13th place. We have both Mercedes now sitting 12th and 13th on the grid. not where GSR Edwin wanted to be as he dropped very early on in this race. We'll see if he can somehow get back up through the pack. Is that down 9 positions? Is that what I'm seeing there?
Down 9 for Edwin, down 4 for Caesar.
Ugh.
We have Sharia and Nikki going up 3. Electric Blade up in 7th in the Haas, up 5 positions.
Wow. Oh, Electric Blade looks like the contender for Racer of the Day. If I know the Codys, I know it's going to be Electric Blade by the looks of that.
Just pick the highest green number here, and you got a good shot.
Yeah. So what is your strategy going into the Castle Corner? We were just on board with race day through that section. It's one of my absolute favorite in the game, just for the sense of when you get through it and it works, you feel like Superman himself. Electric Blade, we spoke too soon. The commentator's curse. The Haas has dropped down into 16th. He has spun out. He will not pass go. He will not collect $200, at least on this lap. Doesn't look like any significant damage, but that car was definitely faced the wrong way following a quick spin after a quick braking zone onto that sharp 90 left that we were talking about earlier. Sharia Coleslaw also dropping down as GSR Edwin is now up into 9th place following that incident.
And we had race day going up in a second over Scarenzi.
Oh, there's so much going on.
And Electric Blade is now out of the race.
That is so unfortunate. It looks like there must have been body damage on the vehicle that we couldn't see in the game. But unfortunate there for the Haas team, as Electric Blade, who was really eyeing up Racer of the Day there, dropping out quickly after. Aero Racing Design moving up past GSR Caesar. Now Aero Racing into 13th, the dreaded 13th position. So it looks like we're in a dogfight for second place here. Race Day and Scarenzi, both of them going after it. Aero Racing Design showing a retired from the session.
Yep,
that car is
up
on the track. That is a safety car. There is no more front end on that Alpine.
That tire was on top of the car.
A fan took a nice souvenir home today. Those Pirelli tires are massive. It's like an end table. When we went to the F1 experience in Madrid, I was really not expecting to really understand how big the cars were. I'd never seen one in person before. The car was as expected. The size is pretty comparable, but standing next to the tires was shocking. Just how cartoonishly large they are. Scarenzi getting an egregious 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As we pit again, Race Day decides to stay out, try and get the best of Gott Palmer, Scarenzi, and the like. We'll see if that strategy.
Only driver to stay out there too.
We'll see if this pays off for Race Day. We may see another explosion of emotion here later in the race. If anything is to happen to this strategy, but only time will tell. We've definitely seen it pay off before. Sharia Coleslaw looking like he has left the session as well. That may just be a connection issue. We may see the Red Bull return to racing. Thankfully, we are still under a safety car. And it is just the lone Ferrari taking the long drive. Look at that. Look at that foreshadowing for 2025. The Ferrari chasing a Mercedes. Would you look at that? There we go. Rest of the pack is back. Scarenzi almost sending it into the back of the Williams. But sorry, I was asking about the Castle Corner. How do you take the Castle Corner? Do you like to just line it up and send it straight, or do you have a bit of a wiggle through there? I've seen both.
I gotta look at this. Look at it on board. I think I'm a wiggler.
Yeah. You're a wiggler. See, I am straight. I just try and send it straight through that gap as best I can.
No, I'm a bit of a wiggler.
So close first corner.
Because kind of go wiggle so that I can go to the left, so I can get a better corner entry on the right before the left. That's really confusing. But as those final two turns as you exit, so there's the 90 like right, 90 left, and then you're in the straight. I try to get the best wide angle into that 90 right before the left.
That makes sense.
So you kind of got to do a wiggle through the castle to get the car set up.
Right, and there goes race day into the pits behind everyone else. That did not pay off for the Ferrari. So as we see the strategy, he may have just quit. You know, as silly as it sounds, he may have just missed the pit entry on that first go round. But that's
I
not
didn't see where he was either with the when the accident happened. But sometimes when you are right up in first place like that,
tough.
You'll see the safety car flag maybe 3 seconds before you have to decide if you're going into the pits.
Yeah,
and that's a lot of pressure, and that's driver at that point to know whether to go in or not.
Right, we'll see.
And so maybe you're hoping like he was on 7-lap hard tires. Just still,
yes,
you can still take those another 5 or 6. He was maybe hoping that some of the other guys didn't pull in either.
Well, it has got Palmer, Scarenzi, and now Tinel, who was once almost 3 seconds behind the podium runners, now in contention for a prize here. But we do have another Ferrari knocking at Alpha's door. That is Cali Robb in 4th place right now. Him and Tinel have been going back and forth through this race. We'll see what the race for 3rd looks like here soon, once the safety car is recalled and the track is deemed fit for racing once again. This just in, this is an unconfirmed announcement. We may be seeing a driver retire from the session, not just from the session, but from this season. Whether that is personal or, just sheer aggravation, we are not certain, but it looks like Aero Racing Design has called to at least be designated as part-time for the rest of the season. He said he will relinquish his Division 1 seat following that DNF. So very unfortunate if that is something that is made official following today's race. Losing a great one there in D1.
We do have safety car coming in, so now got Palmer. Yet again, the guy who decides when everyone else takes off, but Scarenzi is the car behind this time. Instead of race day, Scarenzi's going to get right into that little warning light in the car.
Yes, Scarenzi's not playing the game. He's okay. And there goes Gott Palmer, like a bullet out of a gun, just hitting the gas right there. The Williams jets off.
Scarenzi's going
behind
inside.
Scarenzi takes him on the inside before turn 1. It's Scarenzi. It's Gott Palmer taking the better of him. But wow, how exciting was that? Even though he had the disadvantage on the restart, Scarenzi was still able to gas it on the inside corner and give Gott Palmer a run for his money. We have another caution in Sector 1. We have cars spun. We have debris on the track. We are potentially, if he can get it righted, we are back underway. Looks like whatever debris came off of Fireballer's Williams, presumably the front wing there, is out of the track. So the track maintenance crew can just grab that and we can continue racing. But wow, what a restart from the front too.
Yeah, I was able to, get enough slipstream to cheek at that inside, but he didn't have enough on the exit to keep that position by the time it was time to do another left-hand turn. It's hard when you've got 2 lefts in a row because you can get through on the first one, but you want to get the outside on the second. Unfortunate. But Scarenzi's got plenty of time to make multiple attacks for the rest of this race.
It is definitely an uphill battle here for Scarenzi. He's really hoping that at least him and Gott Palmer can get away from Tinel and rebuild that, again, almost 3-second interval that they had from Tinel before that safety car, because Scarenzi if you recall, got a 5-second penalty for entering the pits. Here we go, trying it again. Past Scott Palmer. Will Scarenzi have the speed? He will into the first corner. But Gott Palmer, and there he goes, trying to block Gott Palmer off for this second left. He has done it. The defensive city circuit driver does it once again. A surgeon just performing his craft. Scarenzi in the Aston Martin now sitting atop the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with a 5-second penalty on the car. So he's really going to have to do some work, really going to have to just put his head down and drive if he wants to see a podium spot here today. We have two cars in the pits. Those are MMR Sui and GSR Caesar, presumably messed up with Fireballer there in that Williams spin. But both of those cars will be pitted and will return. But GSR Caesar will return with a 5-second penalty for jumping on the track way too early there. That was such a clean line from Cynical through the castle corner. Meticulous. Perfect.
Such a good look on board, too. Just gets so narrow in that section of track. It's scary, and you can't see any part of that turn until, like you said, you're either pointed straight or you're wiggling through it. But then you also can't see the exit because it gets to the top of the hill and starts to curse back down.
Yeah, this one is not for the faint of heart by any stretch.
I think these two are just going to be trading down the stretch. So it makes it so fun.
It's going to come down to DRS is enabled, but Scott Palmer will not be able to enjoy it down that stretch. He'll get it in the next lap. Race day might be sitting a little further down in the pack than we expected on the restart, but he did just set the fastest lap. Race day is on a mission, now in 9th place, making his way back up through the pack. These two are going to be trading left and right for the rest of this race, but will that have an effect? It will obviously have an effect on their tire wear. Do you see that being a detriment with 10 laps to go? Do you want to be in a dogfight with 10 laps to go on a track as demanding as this?
I don't know. I mean, at least the dogfight that they're in is on a straight, so they're not throwing, like, it's not the worst place to be wearing out those tires. It just depends how combative they want to get in those first two corners, because you are kind of being the last to break on one of the longest straights, almost one of the longest straights in F1.
Yeah, if not
depending on where you count the straight starting, but it is a very long one.
Did Vegas beat the straight? I can't remember.
I think Vegas is the longest.
Vegas is the longest, and I believe Azerbaijan is the second.
Might have to look that up.
Might have to. Bone Crusher, executive producer. That's what the producers here. Look it up. That's what producers do. They produce. Produce me some facts, please.
As of 2023, the longest is the Baku City Circuit.
Yeah, look at that. As of 23. Okay, so Vegas is second. Race day is now up into 8th place, getting by Nikki. Callie Robb has passed Tinel. We have a Ferrari back on the podium. 9 laps to go. And MMR Cynical and Tinel will now be swapping places at the beginning of, or at the end of their lap, sorry. And it is Cynical coming out on top. We now have both Aston Martins in the top 4. Tinel just not able to hold on. Scarenzi reclaims the lead once again over Gott Palmer. Thanks, Bones. Sui now setting the fastest lap. 1:43, taking that one away from race day. But something tells me that race day has the pace to take fastest lap back from anyone who challenges him. He is still almost 2 seconds behind GSR Edwin in 7th, so he definitely has the runway to set pace. We'll see what he can make out of these remaining laps. On board with MMR Cynical, who is quickly gaining on Callie Robb. These two are pretty away from the front runners, but Cynical, he can get by Callie Robb, will have a podium spot, presumably.
And at that point, I mean, it's a little tricky, but Scarenzi, seen this before, Scarenzi could maybe back up Got Palmer a little bit, get Cynical into the slipstream. Or into his DRS zone.
Yeah, Scarenzi has that 5-second penalty, so at this point, you may be wanting. There he goes, Cynical into third place. So we'll see if we see a teammate strategy play out here for Aston Martin. That does make sense. Defend and bring back the pack. You know, kind of bring everyone back together and allow your teammate to take first while you play tactician and just a little bit of defense. With that 5-second penalty, Scarenzi can really dictate the end of this race here if he has his head on right. Hopefully, he is in communication with Cynical. We have a spin right in front of the camera. It is Got Palmer, of all people. One of the front runners for this entire race is lost a front wing. He is crooked on the track, and a VSC has been deployed. We'll see if that changes to a full-on safety car, depending on how bad this wreck was. You never want to see it. Got Palmer now in 9th. Looks like he may be able to get himself, limp his car back to the pits to get a new front wing on there, but that may take him out of contention for a victory here in Azerbaijan.
And look at this now. With the virtual safety car, they have to keep their delta.
Yes.
Aston Martin's 1-2, and Cynical's at about a 4-second delta. So Scarenzi is very close to that 5-second penalty that he needs. If he just wants the team to win, he probably has an extra half-second buffer, depending on how far Cali Rob or whoever else stays behind Cynical, if they can hold their positions.
Well, this just got interesting.
And Bone Crusher called it, saying Got Palmer accident by lap 20. Ouch. You're going to be getting some nasty messages from Got Palmer if he sees that.
Honestly, yeah, I wouldn't be bragging about this here. Jeez, oh man, predict the crystal ball over there. Well, with 7 laps to go, yeah, this is okay. So we are back underway, and Cynical now back into 3rd. What is going on there? Was that just a bit of a... I don't know what is happening.
Is Got Palmer the one that crashed?
Got Palmer is the one that crashed, but it was just a front wing. I believe he clipped a front wing on his car sideways. No, there we go. Replacing. Yeah. Yeah, thankfully there wasn't a tire. We just saw that front wing kind of take holiday there in Sector 2.
And Cynical now 5.5 seconds behind Scarenzi. So Scarenzi in first place, even with that penalty. This has some pretty big implications for the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah.
Because Got Palmer was 2nd, Race Day was 3rd. Both of them had incidents, but Race Day back up in 5th, and Cali Rob, his teammate, in 4th. So again, we have an Aston Martin Ferrari showdown, and in the Constructors' Cup, also very important because Aston Martin is trailing by 88 points.
I know last week Race Day was signing off the Drivers' Championship for good, saying that's it. Congratulations, Scarenzi. You've won it. You've taken it. I'm done. You know, there's no way to catch back up. But look at this. We have 2 Ferraris. I wonder, I doubt that Cali Rob will relinquish position, but you know, I could definitely see them pull a teammate move potentially, throwing Race Day above Cali Rob for those points if they can manage to break through T-Nell and breach the podium.
They could at this point too. Sharia Drivers' Championship, Race Day's in 3rd, Coleslaw's in 4th, Cali Rob's in 5th. Coleslaw's now out of this race with the DNF. Cali Rob's going to jump in points significantly, but I don't think he can catch Race Day. So Cali Rob will be 4th in the Drivers' Championship and can't go any higher, and unless he crashes out of a race, won't go any lower really. So where he finishes in the race won't really impact his Drivers' Championship. So
yeah, so the teammate sacrifice
aware of that, he could give Race Day, an extra point or 2 that he would get from jumping up a position.
Well, you're going to have to get through the Astons and the Alphas because T-Nell has been able. Wow, I Porky Pig right there has been able to get past Cynical for second place. We do have a Ferrari stack, a Williams stack, and we did have an Aston Martin stack on track. But that trifecta was displaced. We had some weird, and there we go. There was the sacrifice move. Callie Robb going very, very wide to really just, push Race Day ahead. So now we'll see what Race Day can do. That was a very smart move from the teammates.
I'm not even sure it was
or not
intentional.
Oh, really?
I didn't see it that well, but it looked like Callie Robb had to reel the car back in.
I don't know. I think he sent it that wide just to basically say, here, silver platter.
I would just do that on the straight if you were doing that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Either way, it was the right call. On purpose or mistake, happy accident. That was the right call. We'll see what Race Day can do. I mean, he has had pace all day long, has had multiple fastest laps, qualified very well, and just had an unfortunate snap earlier on in the race. Got Palmer setting yet again another fastest lap with a 1:4.27 with that new front wing. But he is currently back in 12th with his teammate Fireballer. So looks like fastest lap may be the only victory he gets here today, but 5 laps to go. Who knows? I've seen crazier things happen.
Yes, and Race Day is pushing on 3rd position right now. Very close to the back of Tino as they're going to go into the castle section. But Cynical in 2nd, almost 7 seconds behind Scarenzi. Still maintaining that 2nd spot over Tino as well. So it's going to give Scarenzi a nice buffer. We're going to have 5 laps to go in a moment.
Here's a steward's question that you may not know the answer to. Is it illegal for Cynical to not hold up traffic, but just go a little slower? Is Cynical pushing as hard through the chicanes, through the twisty bits as he could? Is he trying to maintain that buffer for his teammate? Are you allowed to do that, or does he have to show that he's trying to push?
I don't know if we've seen this. Race Day's going to jump.
There he goes. Race Day now
well into 3rd place.
A podium spot. 4 laps to go. Race Day has 3rd.
I think we've seen it here or maybe in other leagues, but buffering for your teammate is all right. It's when you, if you're intentionally slowing down,
Right. Yeah, it can't be egregious.
Yeah, egregious. I think you're fine. I don't think he's and I don't even necessarily think he is doing that much or needs to.
Right.
But it would be at the point of for the next 5 or 6 laps, I'm going to go conservative on my tires and my fuel. Maybe if you were an endurance race, we've done that. I get up in front of someone. I'm on I plan on doing map 6, fuel saving the entire race. And I see my teammate is in front, 2 in front of me. There's someone 1 in front of me. I get past them. I might go 1 for a little bit to keep that position and then go back to 6. On the Nürburgring especially, you can go into 6 when there's no room to pass.
Yeah.
So that you're not driving the car as fast as it can possibly go, but as fast as you can on that setting. And there's no room to pass, but I'm not doing anything unpredictable. I think that's it. If you're doing something unpredictable, that's
that makes sense. As a good explanation.
It could be a set
diplomatic,
because you can't tell if it's a setup thing either.
Right, exactly. Well, whatever it is,
lap is fine.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's working because Scarenzi has maintained just about 6.5 second lead. Race Day now getting by Cynical. He is going to try and put an end to this 6 second gap. There he goes, very quickly getting into the 5 second mark. There is no faffing about in the last 3 laps of this race. He may not be able to catch him, but he is going to try his darndest to get within 5 seconds, and Race Day will be looking at a first place finish here atop Scarenzi with that 5 second penalty for speeding in the pit entry upon an incident, a safety car incident earlier in today's race. This one is race days to lose. He really does have the skill to put the Jets on here. Close this gap within a second. He just has 1 second to go. I think he can do it.
I didn't see where Scarenzi got it. Was it the second safety car that he picked up that?
Yes.
Penalty?
Yes, it was. And how many safety cars have we gotten? Where are we on our bet? We're at 3, right?
I thought it was 2. And a virtual safety car.
Okay, fair.
So again, wondering, race day didn't go in. Everyone else did. Scarenzi, I think he was in second. He would have been the first driver to duck into the pits. So maybe he saw race day not, and he decided last moment to cut in and didn't have enough time to slow the car down.
Yeah, that makes sense. He did not have someone slowing him down earlier. Yeah, last second decision. They were both probably very close, and like you said, they were probably right at the pit entry to make that decision. So Scarenzi still holding on to it. Just 2 laps to go here in Azerbaijan as Tinel gets by the Ferrari of Cali Rob back up into 4th place, and GSR Edwin now getting back up into 6th into the mix here past the Plums, a late replacement driver for the AlphaTauri team. GSR Edwin had an unfortunate snap in the beginning of today's race. Now in 6th place. That is a decent recovery, at least making up 6 positions, 6 or 7 positions from the second safety car restart. I'll take that.
There we go. There are the position improvements.
And at this pace, race day is shaving off just about a 10th a lap on Scarenzi. At this pace, it's not going to be enough. Scarenzi, not one. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. We've cursed 2 safety cars already. I'm going to say it. Scarenzi is not one to be known to mess up a lap. Boom. Said it. What's going to happen?
Could be a situation too. I mean, he's not close enough to pass, but could be one of those things where, race day just waits until the final lap to close that 1 second gap.
Yeah.
Don't give Scarenzi enough time to think about it and defend. Kind of like when Edwin pulled the last second pass in Brazil.
He also
waited 6 laps to do it. No, last season.
Oh, yeah.
Where he sat behind for the last 10 laps, and then the last lap passed. Same thing, wait till last lap. Don't give the other guy enough time to fight back.
Yeah, that makes sense. But look at that down the straight. Race day closing it to 5.4, which is the closest we've seen him get so far. We have just 2 laps to go here.
And Tino's got a 3-second penalty, so
wow.
Would be in 4th. Edwin will be fighting for 5th, too. He's just on that line.
Amazing that we only have 2 penalties here, and they are both for pit misdemeanors. Really can't cut the track here in too many places. See, we were spoiled last week. We were able to sign off by 11:04. These 2 safety cars really thrown off my groove. We have a caution flag in Sector 1. We'll see if that was an incident. One of the Alpines spun out. That is Nicky. He's going to lose a position to Houdini's McLaren, but otherwise is fit for racing. He will return. Scarenzi's still holding strong on that interval. Wow.
Yeah, this will be where we'll start to see if race day was holding back for this final lap, or if he just doesn't have enough pace at this point to catch Scarenzi. But he did close it down to a 5.4.
There we go, 5.3. I really think race day has a very straight line configuration. on his car right now because anytime he's in a straight, he is just ripping that time down. But the minute they get back into the technical, into the corners, Scarenzi is just able to rip it and get away from him again. Watch. I'll be surprised if this doesn't go back up once again.
Of course, the final part of the race is the longest straight. It is longer than Vegas, too. Vegas is 1.9 kilometer. This is 2.2 kilometers for a straight.
That's significant.
Also the fastest and narrowest street course.
Ugh. It's the best. It really is. I'll take Azerbaijan over Montreal any day. Not that Montreal's a bad street circuit, but this is just chef's kiss. And talk about chef's kiss. Race day now within 3/10 of a first place seat here in Baku. He could do it. We are in the final lap of racing. But he closed almost half a second on that 25th lap of 26. There may be something in the tank here in Sector 3. There we go again, seeing it rubber band back up as Scarenzi gets into his groove.
Scarenzi is going to cross with the interval above, but race day.
It's just a 10. He is 6/100ths off of a victory. It's Scarenzi and Azerbaijan in the Aston Martin coming from third, finishing first. It is Scarenzi, Race Day, and Cynical. A double Aston Martin podium here in Baku. One of the most electric races of the season, did not disappoint, and especially with a 5-second penalty for the leader, he was able to hold on to it. What a commanding win from the veteran.
Just incredible. Race Day was pushing on that lap, so I think he was not waiting too long, but just saving the car for something special in the final lap, and just hair short, but still getting second place points.
Yeah, he really was. That was impressive. I did not think that he would have the juice to put that pace on Scarenzi, but like you said, he waited for that very last moment to turn it on. I wonder if he pushed just that much harder in the 25th lap, we might have been seeing another victor. But I know you can't do that. You can't look at the race that way. What happened, happened. And it was a phenomenal race from both of those drivers, regardless. Bobbert Yates started this race by telling us he was going to crash out just flagrantly in the 4th lap of this race. He made it through the whole way, and he is our driver of the day. So there you go, Bobbert Yates. Enjoy that crow. And there you go, Scarenzi. Enjoy that podium win. Look at the Aston Martin team. So happy for that one. All that green up there. Mitch is rocking the green too. It is cheers all around, celebrating the massive F1 news today that Aston Martin will retain AMP as their outfitter for the 2024 season. I mean, just headline breaking news from the world of F1 and from Aston Martin today. And on top of that, Scarenzi and Cynical will be rocking that AMP gear for at least one more season following this one.
And that JCB, keep forgetting it.
Yeah, sorry. That's yours.
Tractors you can get in Farming Simulator.
Well, there is the lineup, at least the top 14 from today's contest. Of course, this is all pending stewards review, so if there are any updates to these standings, next week we will give you an update ahead of week 14, second to last. There you go. Second to last race on the schedule is next week, and it takes us to none other than Singapore. So we are going to get to dance around that Singaporean track one more time before we close things out in Bahrain. So we will see you back here on February 8th for the Singapore Grand Prix. I believe we're still in D1, right? These last races we're following through.
I think we were, yeah.
Yeah. So we will be back here. Same place, same time with the same division. Thank you as always for tuning in live. What's up? Ellie waited until the very last moment to say anything that race. I'm sure she was on the edge of her seat that entire time watching that one pan out. And I'm sure Scarenzi was on the edge of his seat too, especially rocking a 5-second penalty up there at first. I'm sure just everything you heard from the seat was
Scarenzi's 99th podium.
Whoa!
So it could be 100 next week.
Whoa. Well, we will look to see what Scarenzi can pull out. If not in Singapore, maybe Bahrain. Will season 11 spell the centennial mark for the green machine? All of that remains yet to be seen. But before we close out, we want to say thank you to our YouTube members here, the folks that contribute a little bit of money every month to make sure that we have awesome graphics and everything for these live streams every week. Thank you very much to Bone Crusher Coach 34, Mama Bell, along with our co-producers Kill Vapor and Captain Snowbeard and Kirsten, along with our fans and Fans Plus. If you think that we are worth a couple of dollars a month, you can become a member. You can click join on the channel or just down below. And hey, if you haven't clicked the subscribe button, make sure you click that before you leave today's broadcast. You're going to get an awesome update like that will interrupt the race or whenever you decide to subscribe. But that helps us as well. Thank you to everyone who is watching consistently. We really appreciate all of the support from MidWest eSports, from everyone watching, and from the stewards. I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about the stewards. Thank you to Pork Chops, our league commissioner, Lancey, and Knuckles, our head D1 steward for season 11. Those guys might have some work to do following this one in Azerbaijan. We'll see what their workload entails at the start of next week's race. Week 14 in Singapore, February 8th. Same place, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on Nick and Mitch. Be sure to like and subscribe. Be sure to follow us. And, I think if you unsubscribe and then resubscribe, you will get the notification. But will that mess up your tracker for being a member?
I don't think you do, actually. It's weird. I think I've tried that on stream before, and it doesn't work.
Interesting. Well, that's going to do it for us. Have a wonderful night. And yeah, go watch the rest of the Cars trilogy, because in the next 2 weeks, we are definitely going to be reviewing those next, the next two movies. Ka-chow.
Was that it?
Yeah. I thought I turned the reactions off.